welcome to the very first talk show on RabiCares.
Our team here is exploring wellness, seriousness, and everything in between. The purpose of this show is simple: to sit down with various type of people, listen to their stories, and learn from their experience on life, relationship, psychological, and health.
So our guest here is Mr. Ebelte. And together we'll be discussing on the very trending topic, the reality of trying to stay positive in tough times.
Do you believe in staying positive no matter what, or is it okay to feel down?
Right. Basically, I was speaking from a personal perspective. Before I get to talk about staying positive in trying times or tough times, now, one thing for me I've actually learned to develop is personal strength and self-sufficiency. Now, in life, definitely you would have to go through tough times, you have to go through critical moments. Actually, that's what shapes us into becoming adults. Now, but how you handle a particular situation actually makes you who you are. Now, I would actually have to cut in to say, what helps you to actually become a successful adult is allowing yourself to go through situations in life and learning from those experiences. Normally, you definitely have to feel down. You definitely get to feel tossed around. It's expected to feel downcast or feel dropped down by life. But where strength comes in is actually to understand that life is actually in segments. Life is actually in time. You are only going through a process, and that does not define your life. So personally, I would say I have learned to scale through life because I have understood that life doesn't end in a particular moment of my life.
So the second question goes like this: what is something that helped you through a really low period, like something that helped you during your low period?
Okay, that's quite tough. I could remember a time. Maybe I would have to go back to when I was much younger. Of course, I'm still young, but during the period when my dad died, years after that, I was actually left with my siblings, elder ones, and now my mom. So I first of all had to look at this woman, talking about my mom now, and she gave me so much confidence because looking at her and all she had to put into our lives to see that we become who we are today gave me more strength to push through. Basically, for me now, if I want to talk about a general setting, what helped me to scale through different phases of my life is simply understanding, like I said before, life is actually in segments. That's why I usually advise people to read books, read inspirational books, read books that helps to boost your confidence, read books that gets to talk about life experiences because there's a lot to actually learn from people. So I learned how to live in self-reliance through books I've read and through experiencing. So the basic thing that actually has put me through life is simply understanding that life is actually in phases. But most persons feel like when they get caught down with a particular situation, they feel like that's where life ends. But for me, I've really had this philosophy that life is in phases and life is in segments. So that helps me boost strength whenever I feel down with life. Don't forget that actually I have to include prayer. Thank you.
That's actually true. I love that. I really love that. For the fact that you said you have to include prayer.
Sure.
That's actually a catch. Have you or someone you know lost a secure job unexpectedly?
Okay. I would still talk about me. As at 2014, I was opportune to go for an interview with this company, Lafayette Estate, actually in Abuja. They deal more on heavy duty parts of this big motors and all of that. Now, when I actually went there, I had to meet with white people, this white men, and what happened was I had to go to the conference room, of course, I did some interview with them. They actually had to interview me on certain things, and they asked me a simple question, which I can never forget that because that's not like a stigma in my life up to date. So they asked the question, when would I like to resume? When would I be resuming? So I told them I would have to go and think about it. And not knowing that white men don't joke with time. So when I was actually telling them to go and think about it, they didn't argue actually. They said I should. Okay, no problem. I can get back to them whenever. So later I left there at that particular point. I went home. I had to call my uncle that actually referred me to the place. And when I called him, he was like, "What's wrong with you? You're supposed to give them instant replies, instant response to S1." So I was like, okay, let me go. Even I had to call them the next day. I was like, I want to resume the following day. Before you know it, the man was like, speak to my wife. From speaking to the wife, I lost the job completely. I'm talking about 2014, as at then, the salary was about 80,000 thereabouts. So that was actually huge. So I lost that completely due to lack of proper preparation. So I have learned from that experience to always be prepared to take hold of every opportunity I see at every given time, regardless of the place I find myself. So I built so much self-strength for myself, and I get so prepared that whenever I see an opportunity, every day, at anywhere, anytime, I just make it do it. So that's one life experience I can never forget. No, that was huge actually.
It's actually huge, like,
in 2014.
like, why do you have to think about it? When, okay, if you're not ready for it, you wouldn't have moved on for the interview.
That's
like,
it. So I was timid at that point. So I've learned a lot. So if you meet me now, and okay, after then, as at last year, that was 2024, yeah, I actually had another deal with this man outside the country, and he actually asked if I could handle a particular project for him. I said yes immediately. Now, even though I was a bit jittery, because when you meet some certain persons in life who probably they've actually attained so much success, it is normal for you to feel a bit intimidated because this man is actually above you. So I told him instantly, I can handle this. And even though I was not so confident, but at least I said it. So I had to go with a friend who gave me small confidence, and that was how I was able to get that deal. And I delivered in 4 days' time, and the money was paid. So, like I said, I've learned, and I don't think that mistake of 2014 will repeat itself again.
That's perfect. In all, you should be ready for every given opportunity.
Sure.
So the first question here is, how do you think people can prepare for their career uncertainty?
Whoa. Okay, this is quite tough. How do people prepare for that career?
Yeah.
The first thing I would say is know what you want.
That's one.
Know what you want out of life.
Nice one.
That's for me. That's actually a first key to know what you want, because I used to say, and I've actually discussed with a friend of mine. Actually, is a graduate. I asked him a question, or we're actually conversing, and I said I have come to realize that most people in school actually don't even know what they want to do outside school or after school. Now, most of university candidates you see are there because their parents want them to go to school, or because they are actually opportune to have money to fund themselves through school, or their parents just want to study a particular course. So most persons don't really know what they want from life. They are working based on the terminologies of their parents. So if you actually get to interview most university graduates, what do you really want to do after school? What do you want to do with what you're studying? You will never get a vivid response. I don't know if you understand. So basically, I would advise, know what you want out of life, personally for yourself. Even if school, that's the educational setting, doesn't give you the platform, there are several things you can actually do even outside school that can fetch you a lot of money and that can make you more relevant to society.
That's a nice one, because I've actually come across someone. I was like, okay, since you're done with school, what next? What's the plan? Like, for now, you know, like, I don't finish school, I just be the cocoa. Now I can present my certificate to my parents. I was like, I don't understand. Are you going to the school? Like, did you go to the school because of your parents? Like, oh no, it was because of my parents. I actually felt I felt a certain way. Like, that's actually a good one. Know what you want. So we actually come to the end of this show. please do well to subscribe. I hope you learned one or two things from here. So, Mr. Elbertel, please help me tell my fans to please follow me on all my social media, and most especially they should subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Okay, you heard from, I wouldn't say the hostess mouth, you heard from the hostess mouth. Do follow her, do subscribe, do leaving a whole lot, because this would actually help the society to discover what they want for themselves. And I feel this would really help people to reduce the risk of being unproductive as a young person. So please do follow her, do subscribe, and thank you.
Thank you. Love you all.